We play and call it work.
Hey there, Wargamers, and welcome to another episode of the Reroll. So, as always, I'm being joined by Quirk and Steve.
Hey.
And it has been a busy week for us. So we got a couple things we're going to talk about. We don't want to beat a dead horse, but there is going to be a little bit of Age of Sigmar discussion going on here, simply because we've now seen the War Scrolls hit. We've seen a whole bunch of games come out online. We've seen people play it, and not only that, but Steve, you've got a lot of games in as well.
I've played more than you would normally play for a starting game because it does play really fast. I got about 20 games in my belt already.
Yeah. Okay. So why don't we start right there then? And so we'll give ourselves our little timer and whatnot. And why don't you tell us a little bit about your initial impressions and what you're trying to do to sort of make it more entertaining to watch?
So my initial impressions, you've seen a video uploaded last week, excuse me, of a demo game where Quirk was there with me, being shown by Jay from Black Knight Games, and we came and talked to you right after that. So right before the last episode of the Reroll. Super excited. We played in a small 2x2 table. Actually, I think some people got confused and thought that was how you're supposed to play. It was more of a demo thing. We played in a very small table, not showing a whole lot of tactics or strategy, but just sort of running out your models and how does the game work. Excited. I actually like it. I think they got something. It's gonna like the 4-page rule book. It works. Yeah,
there was a comment made around the office by Justin where he basically pointed out to have a good rule set, you don't necessarily need to have a long rule set. And I think this really sort of espouses that idea.
And I think we've made this comparison before where if you took the War Machine rules, you can condense it down that low. And everything else is on the card, which would be the War Scrolls. I'm liking it. I'm loving it. And then the Games Workshop releases all the War Scrolls for existing armies. And then I kind of... Yeah, like most of you.
Yeah, you spent some time defending these last week.
At this point, has your opinion changed?
Changed, yes, but let me explain what I mean by that.
Okay.
I think the game is still going to... I think it'll be okay. That doesn't sound exciting. Steve says he thinks it'll be okay.
It's all right, folks.
It just seems like the Battle Box miniatures, the new Khorne guys, the new Sigmarites, they seem...
More balanced?
More balanced, I guess. And in the whole War Scrolls that were released for existing armies, I have no facts behind the statement. It just seems they were just rushed out to make our armies valid.
I think I actually mentioned that last week, that it sort of had that feel that maybe some of the newer stuff that's
coming out. And
we
were all arguing with you. We were because we were so impressed with the demo that we were button heads. You weren't there for that.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
So I came in with... I don't necessarily want to say an unbiased view because it might have still been biased from what I'd read that day, but I definitely came in with a different viewpoint as a result.
That being said, just so I'm clear with everybody here, we've played a number of games in-house with the War Scrolls. We've learned how very fast you can get out of hand with your opponent.
Yeah.
At one point when I was playing a game with Josh, I said, you can keep putting models on the table, but I have all of this at my disposal. Like, if you want to keep dropping models, I'm going to keep dropping models. So there's that game of not list chicken, but
it's like model chicken almost. Where it's like, are you gonna deploy your model, or am I gonna deploy? Are you gonna stop?
I remember when watching you do a demo game with Tarek.
Yep.
And you put down your Blood Knights.
We did. We had a lot of fun playing.
Yeah, you had your Blood Knights. I think there was like 2 units of Blood Knights, and then you started putting down some of the big beasties and whatnot. Yeah. And you're like, okay, I'm gonna win with this 1 unit. Oh no, that was Steve.
That was Steve.
So
that was Steve going, I'm
gonna
just take this unit and win. And we're like, what? And he's like, watch.
Well, when I was showing them a game, because we learned some hard things. Okay, another thing I learned while deployment. A buddy of mine, you saw him here last week. He was sitting right here, Josh.
The big beard.
The big beard.
The big beard.
He was playing a game, and he was using both my vampire counts and some of the studio vampire counts. And at one point, I said to him, you can keep deploying, but you got to clean all that up and put it all away. And that's when he stopped deploying. So that to me is a problem for the game. But anyways, so we played a demo game to show, I think it was to show Tarek. I was to show Tarek some of the flaws with this game. He put down a unit of Storm Vermin. I put down a unit of 5 Blood Knights. He put down...
Squeak
Head Taker. I put down Nagash. He put down...
Doomwheel.
A Doomwheel. I put down one of the Mortarks. He put down something else. I put down another Mortark. He put down something else. I put down another Mortark.
I don't even think we got to something else. I think he actually said...
I had 4 monsters on the table.
No, I know you had 4 monsters on the table, but I think Tarek had actually stopped.
Oh, he had stopped it? Okay.
Yeah, and you're just like, okay, so you said you're done, so...
I put down 4... Yeah. I had 4 monsters and he had a Blood Knights. So then he outnumbered me drastically. So I wanted sudden death victory. I said assassinate. He had one character. He had only one character to nominate. He had no monsters, so that was his target. And then I rolled off. We rolled off so we get first turn. I think he finished deploying first, so he must have had first turn.
Yep.
So he moved forward. And then on my turn, I took all my monsters and walked into the corner. I said, I'm going to use just as unit of Blood Knights.
Yeah.
And then I charged him. And that was it. It was game over. Yeah. My one unit took out his 35 marls. It wasn't an army, but I mean, it was... And that's a flaw.
So with that in mind, then, because you've mentioned around the office, and you've already put a video up as well.
Yep.
That you've been looking at various ways to try and, I don't know if I want to call it balance it, but try and structure it in such a way that people can kind of come in from off the street and whatnot.
I got some very mixed.
You did
opinions on that one. The comments were seemed pretty balanced, but I got a lot of personal messages and emails. A lot of them were, I don't want you to change the game. Play it as is. Fair enough. And then I got a lot of them, well, here's my idea. And then they were 4 or 5 pages long. Like, I'm not going to change, like, nobody's going to change the game that drastically. I look for the smallest fix for balance.
Yeah. And I think the important thing right now is that this is a very new system. I mean,
yeah.
with what we're used to in Games Workshop, this is drastically different. And a lot of it could just be a form of sticker shock.
Well, another thing, too, is I got to honestly take my head out of what the game used to be. I got to take my head out of 20 years of fantasy, and it's different now. Now, Matthew and I had a discussion, I think it was yesterday, where he pointed out, as I stopped following the rumors for a while because it was out, you can see I'm not sure to call it yet, an expansion,
there's supposed to be
something. We've seen another book. And there are a lot of claims that this is what's going to be the balancing factor. Now, I'm hopeful. I'm not saying it's going to be the balancing factor. I'm going to wait and see.
But the rumor track record.
Yeah.
The rumor track record, and I challenge anybody to say I'm wrong about this one.
You're wrong.
Everything about Age of Sigmar, with the exceptions of round bases, every rumor was false.
Or at least it was so far off from what actually happened.
But we've had at least 3 different rumors over the last few months of what the box set contents were, and not one of them was right.
Yeah. Well, you know what, in regards to the contents of the box set, it's hard to say it wasn't right when we didn't know names for things. People could have seen these models, and
we had some very descriptive explanations of the models too, though, that were way off.
Fair enough.
I come from a time where, way back when Portent was still a thing, still a website, where you can get rumors well a year in advance. Games Workshop has never been more tight-lipped than they have been with this release. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm not saying one way or the other. It's just different. They've toned down the rumors over the last couple years.
Or was there so few people trying to get fantasy rumors?
I don't know. No, I think there are plenty of false rumors.
There's a good number of followers and a good number of people looking for those rumors and just trying to speculate and come up with their own ideas and figuring out what they think it might be. But yes, he's absolutely right. None of them were right. I think it was, again, just everybody throwing darts at a dartboard hoping to hit something.
I have no theory. I can't think of a reason why they've been so secretive with this release. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Just why was this the one that was so secretive?
It could be that it was such a drastic change.
That probably.
But actually, that brings up something that I've been thinking about a little bit in my mind and whatnot. How important do you think the rumor mill has been for the game? Like, let's talk about games in general.
I don't think it's really been that important for the actual development of the game for the players, and like as a player.
Well, yeah, the game economy or infrastructure, right?
But let's just break it down to that. For the economy in itself, the rumor mill has been super important because it's pretty much almost like going into stocks in the sense that I want to invest in a stock, I want to invest in a game. And you hear the rumor mill, for example, with Necrons, people going, well, Necrons are going to be the next overpowered army. It's a rumor, nobody knows for sure. But people are going to take these rumors and suddenly they're going to invest in Necrons to try and get ahead of the game, ahead of the curve. Well, then what happens is Games Workshop might be saying, okay, well, let's make Tau the next powerful army. Well, we're noticing a lot of people think it's going to be Necrons, and they're buying into Necrons. Why don't we kind of use this as an opportunity to...
You think they're using rumors as a marketing tool?
I don't think they're using the rumors. I think they're kind of going with the flow a little bit and saying, well, you know what, people are really liking this, and people are investing in this. This is the pond that has the most fish. Let's go fishing here.
So it's almost like creating a release schedule based on that.
Yeah,
I think that's very special. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just think we as a community tend to overread into the rumors or lack thereof.
Yeah, but again, that's just one theory that it could be. Another theory could be that Games Workshop is saying, you know what, we have an overabundance of Necrons. Let's leak a little bit about Necrons and say that they're going to be the next big thing, and try and get people hyped up about this release.
I can speak to something where I think everybody has to answer this question a little bit differently, how you react to rumors and what you do with. But I just said years ago when Warseer, I think it was still called Portland, I think it was the same site, if I'm mistaken. I'm sorry if I'm wrong about that. But it was another big site for forums. You could get your rumors for armies a year in advance, to the point where you knew what models you were going to buy, and you start building your army a year in advance.
Yeah.
So I loved it for that. You knew what not to buy, and you knew what to buy. But there was a downside, because when you knew a year in advance what was coming out, when it finally came out, most of the hype was gone. Now, when you tighten those rumors up a bit, like, for example, when the high elves came out for Warhammer Fantasy, I think that was 2 years ago, not that long ago, I was so busy with my other job at the time that I wasn't following the rumors at all. And then one day I walk into the local store to buy some paint, and I see this new box, Griffin, or the Phoenixes. Is that how you pronounce Phoenix? Phoenixes.
The Phoenix.
The Phoenixes. I bought two.
Phoenix.
I bought two. I didn't even play fantasy back then. Like, it was that impulse buy was like, what is this? Would I have bought them two before? Maybe, it's hard to say, but there's no impulse buy when you know everything's coming out. When you know all the rumors.
So it sounds like, at least the way you're talking about the rumors and whatnot,
anyway.
the rumors that were important to get a player initially excited, but financially, like from a Games Workshop standpoint or from any business standpoint, the rumor mill is bad because it might reduce financial return.
See, and another thing too is I have a Lizardman army. I think the Lizardman came out just before or just after High Elves, and they had the new Carnosaur kit and some other new monster kits. I didn't play back then. If I knew about the rumors, I probably, that's so cool, and probably never would have bought them because I would have saw the pictures and that was amazing. But when I'm in the store and I see them there, I'm like, wow, that's really cool. On the shelf, on the register it goes. So for me, not knowing makes my impulse buys go up.
Now, what about the game itself? Like, do you feel that rumors are good for the game, or
again? I think it has to be answered person for person because, like I said, good for the game is good for the bottom line of the company making the model.
Fair enough.
So if they keep making money, they're going to keep making the game. So would I have bought more or less because I know it's coming out? I think I buy more.
If you knew what was coming out,
for not knowing what's coming out.
for not knowing what's
my
coming out.
impulse buys tend to be more than my planned buys.
All right, now which one do you think is better from a business perspective?
I don't know.
Just as even as an opinion, or just looking through the looking glass here.
If I'm the majority, it's better to keep a tight lip on the rumors.
Yep.
And by the majority, I have no idea.
No, that's fair.
So here's something I want, going off that idea. Since you've started working with us, Quirk, I've been paying a little bit more attention to War Machine and Hordes and all that sort of stuff.
That's good.
And to me, it seems like Privateer Press gives out a little bit more information than Games Workshop does, at least a little bit further in advance.
Yeah.
But their way confuses me, a lot.
That's because it involves reading, Steve.
There are words? Well,
It's not just them pretty pictures.
That's a pretty model.
I was starting my Signar army, and I couldn't figure out where the heck to get the Reliant. The model was in my war room. I never bought the books. Well, I did buy the book. That's not true. I never looked at. I never opened the book. I actually have one. I have two actually for some reason, but I never flipped through it. So never noticed it wasn't in that book. Actually, it wasn't until a couple months ago I realized that some models were in other books. But anyway, so there's a card in my war room, Reliant. Couldn't buy the model, and there a couple days ago I was looking on Privateer Press's page again and looking at Savio whatever his name is, some guy. He's a Thamorite mercenary.
Yep.
He's in Sigmar armor. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go look what his stats are. I'll go War Machine. I'll go to the mercenaries. Can't find them. So they're releasing pictures of a model, but where are the rules for them?
They have a tendency to kind of do this where it will be either they will release a model or release a 3D image, or they're doing it right now big time with a lot of their colossals, like the one for Convergence, the new Prime something. There's the Prime Axiom, and then there's this one that's coming out that's all electricity based. And they've shown a 3D rendering of it. They've given hints to what its rules are, and that's all they've given out. Whereas 90% of the other factions have their new colossals with rules and expectations on when they can possibly be seeing these models coming out. So they kind of do that a little bit where they'll tease to not just the gaming community, but they'll tease to the specific faction that you play in. So they tend to do that.
That goes right back to the whole thing where if you know, when I said we knew about stuff coming out in advance years ago, you knew what stats were, you knew point cost, you knew everything about it for the rumor mill. Now, Privateer Press has released, I can see Hurricanes, he's my the new Colossal for Signar, I can see his stats, I can see his card on War Room right now. Is that going to make me more or less likely to buy him when he comes out?
This again, I think, goes back to the whole War Machine is a competitive game, where people will start building lists with the idea of Hurricane in it. They will see benefits of having him. They will see disadvantages. They will see ways around it. They'll basically, before the model's even out and available for purchase, there will be people out there who know everything about that model, have play tested that model, and know I need this model so that when I go to tournaments, I can use it.
Now, for people like me, I read the Hurricane stats. If the model was available when I read that card, I would own one now already, for sure. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Now, it hasn't come out yet, right?
No.
I've been really busy. I've lost touch with War Machine a little bit. When it does come out, will I buy it right away? Obviously not, because it could have been known. I wouldn't even know.
Yep.
My hype for it is gone. Not saying that I don't want it. I might get around to getting it. I will get it eventually. But when I first read it, if it was available to me, I would have bought it. I would have ordered it right away.
Yeah.
But now again, that's me. So they lost a little bit of money with me by releasing the information out beforehand.
Okay.
And it's not, but that's not because of anything there. That's just because you've kind of lost interest in
I have my interest. The initial hype, the excitement is like it's kind of it's already a thing. I know what it is.
Yeah.
I'll get it when I
It's
I'll get it when I need to
it's
get
not
it
an
now.
intense burn anymore. It's
Exactly.
Yeah. And the thing is, when I started playing
I'm
Convergence,
going to get one.
Yeah,
No,
no,
it's not right now.
The thing is, when I started playing Convergence is my main faction. That's what I have the most models in. And one thing that I've always noticed is that when I'm going to the store or something like that, I already have the maximum amount of everything in the army that I can bring outside of tier lists. Well, now I want to start investing into tier lists. Like I want to get in the Axis tier, so I need 2 more of the Foundries in order to complete his tier. Well, now when I'm at the store and I happen to see one because this is a very popular tier, it's one of those, oh wow, I have an option. I have a chance to get this one. If I get this one, I only need 1 more. So I'll buy it at that time. Whereas if I'm just a new person kind of getting into it and I've already got 2, my thought process is going to be, well, I already have 2. I don't really need any more. So they kind of have that aspect to it as well, where it's like, well, depending on how invested you want to get into the army will kind of determine how much you're going to buy into that specific army. So
I guess some of it also depends on how much you want to sort of spread out in the game system you're playing in as well. Like getting into a game, I think it's very easy for a lot of players to say, I'm going to play this army and only this army. But I mean, I've been playing 40K now for 15, 16 years. You've been playing Fantasy about 20 years. You've been playing War Machine and other games for...
Not that long. He's very young.
He is a young guy, yeah. For what? Probably since your teens?
12 years.
Yeah, so 12 years. Okay.
I started when I was 13 with Owen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay. Yeah, that makes
so
sense.
we all have a lot of experience, and I'm sure we all had that same.
I see you at 17.
And I'm sure we had that same conversation when we started off. We got our first army, and we're like, okay, that's our army. But along the way, like, how often do you start looking at other armies and get excited for things to pick up new armies?
So when I started playing War Machine, I started playing Signar. I said, and anybody who's ever came in here to play Signar heard me say, or play War Machine, has heard me say this. Because everybody wants to give you opinions on what to buy and what lists you should play. And what
No, we don't.
Everybody, they all do. So I kept saying repeatedly, I am not buying mercenary models. I'm playing Signar. I'm not going to buy mercenaries. I'm going to be the true Signar, this only faction, buying nothing else. And I have a lot of mercenaries because I had to branch out.
You have Iona and Holt. You have the
I have more than a few units, yeah.
Yeah, I borrowed a bunch of your mercenaries for stuff. So.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean...
But even beyond that, I mean...
It's okay to start with a singular army or faction or something in mind, but you very rapidly branch out.
But the thing I was going to lead towards was this whole idea that with the rumor mill, when you had that year in advance knowledge, and you have your one army, and you all of a sudden you get word that, hey, in 6 months' time, 8 months' time, this other faction's coming out. There's some cool looking stuff. You can then also look at your army and kind of go, well, I can have this complete by then, and that'll give me a chance to move into this other one. And instead of being reliant on basically impulsively buying something, which...
So rumors for you was a painting motivation, possibly?
It could be a painting motivation, but it also could just be that for some people, they might not want to get into a new army until they have one complete. And if they have that time frame, it gives them an idea on when they need to have it either fully collected or fully painted.
I want to go back to your original question. You said what was better for the game or the community, whichever way you worded it, which also means what's better for the company. Because they got to make money for them to keep making the game that we love.
Yeah, sure.
So for you, what do you... So the company has to make money, so it basically comes down to, are you going to buy more or less? Which way makes you spend more money?
That one's a really hard one to say because
when
the rumor mills were going full tilt, I didn't have the money to spend a lot of it on.
That's another factor.
And now that the rumor mill has really been tightened down, at least in the vein of 40K and fantasy and whatnot, or Age of Sigmar, whatever the proper branding is going to be going forward, I have the money for the stuff, but I don't have the time to do
Okay,
anything else.
let's say you love your Grey Knights. Let's say a new variant of the Dread Knight is released tomorrow.
I love me some Baby Carrier.
You've already bought it, right? You've bought it. You didn't have read the rules yet. It's in the store. I'm buying 2. You got them right away. Well, let's say they release the rumor for it right now, the rules for it, and you look at it. It's pretty effective.
I'm the wrong guy to ask because I'm the type of gamer or the collector where I will get everything represented in my army.
Sure, same here.
So I will buy everything. You talk to a competitive player, and they're probably going to be very much. They know what they're getting, and that's all they're getting.
So you're a middle road guy. You're gonna spend as much as you can annually.
I
think we all spend as much as we can annually.
I suppose.
That's not even a fair statement.
I was just going to add to that I also tend to buy models that I just like the look of.
Sure.
Like I was mentioning, I can't remember if I was mentioning to Tarek or Colin the other day, but I have, when it comes to 40K, I have almost everything represented in my collection. It's not full collections, like it's not full armies, but aside from maybe orcs and maybe... Actually, no orcs.
Just orcs?
I think just orcs. Aside from that, I have purchased a kit from every faction and army in 40K simply because I love some of the models. Like, I have Arbitus models sitting at home for crying out loud. That's the only army older than Sisters of Battle right now.
We've mentioned Colin and Tarkin more a couple times this episode. We kind of have a live studio audience today. They're both in the room behind the camera. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Weak dudes.
That was sad.
Hi, guys.
That was Tark.
And that
was embarrassing.
Moving on.
How about you? Rumors. Does knowing in advance make you spend more or less? Do you not know the answer to it, or?
I do know. I know exactly what the answer is to this. And I'm sure a lot of viewers can kind of relate to this one a little bit. I like the hobby because I like all aspects of the hobby.
Okay.
I like playing the game. I like painting the miniatures. I like building the miniatures. Not Harbinger. That's a different story.
But
she claims another.
Yeah.
I gotta buy this thing and try it out for myself.
I witnessed two employees at MiniWarGaming trying to assemble that model, and both times I wish I had a camera on.
I need to be
so
crushed.
if you buy it, I'm going to turn the camera on and make you watch
I think I need to be crushed by this model.
It is not a pleasant model.
There were
to build.
tears from both of them.
I cried.
All right, that's it. I'm going to buy this model. I'm going to give it a try, and we're going to film this.
Let's have a Harbinger building race, but all models have to fit on the base.
Yes, well, mine fit. They're just
no. They're completely on the base.
No,
they can't just be floating off the toe on the whatever.
Anyway, back to your answer.
But no, again, I think this would kind of apply to a lot of the viewers. Just that I do very much enjoy all aspects of the hobby. I like playing the game. I like going through the fluff. I like reading the rules and getting ideas for playing a little bit competitive. I like building the fluffy lists. I like painting the miniatures. I like building the miniatures. I've done it numerous times where I've said, you know what, I'm going to buy these models. They're never going to see board because I'm going to be able to diorama with them. So when I see the rumor mill coming up and I see a miniature, I think different things. If I see a picture of the miniature, I go, I really look forward to painting this. Like there's been the Haley 3 that's come out.
Yep.
I'm super excited to paint future Haley. I think she's going to be very fun to paint. She has a very large canvas for her cape. Game-wise, you and I have debated over whether she's good or not for hours on end.
Yeah, I'm still to argue with you.
Yeah, I'm still looking
I have no idea.
very forward to using that model and playing against that model. If I had enough money and time to do it, I would try and build a diorama of that where it's just like from the fluff story of At What Cost, the novella that came out with Haley. I would try and build something like that. So rumors get me excited. They don't kind of downplay it. It's one of those things where I'll get really excited at the moment and say, wow, I'm excited. I want this model. I want to build this model. I want to paint this model. I want to play this model. And then as I kind of get more rumors out there, this model suddenly becomes slotted somewhere where it's, okay, it's not very good in gameplay, so I'm still going to get it because I want to paint this miniature. It's not very...
And completing your army, right?
Yep.
Completing the collection. That's everything.
Exactly. And it's not very aesthetically pleasing as a miniature, but it's really good in the game. Like the Enigma Foundry for Convergence, I think it's the ugliest model on the planet.
Convergence, I don't like any of their models, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So a lot of their models are just all over the place. But the thing is, like I've built them, I've painted them, and I've used them because they're really good in game. There was no reason for me to say I'm not going to buy this because I don't like the look of it. I still bought it because it's very good. I knew ahead of time what it was going to do. When Privateer Press started releasing the rules for other ones like their battle engine, this battle engine looks really cool. I'm really excited to see what it does. I math hammered it, said, wow, that's awesome. Finally getting the model and looking at it, I went, this is an ugly model. I still bought it the day it came out.
You know, just listening to Quirk's answer there, something just kind of struck me. I wonder if it has something to do with the size and scale of the games that we're playing. So for smaller games like more skirmish-based things, War Machine Hordes, even Infinity, Corvus Belli they'll tease a lot of their models before they actually hit as well. Usually about a month in advance or so, if not a little bit. Like they'll give concepts a little bit further. But I have to wonder if the longer rumor mill is better for smaller skirmish-size games, but for the larger, grander scale games where cost of entry is a lot higher, or like just you have to buy a lot more to get into it.
Let's just say it. We're talking the big boy Games Workshop and everybody else. So the rumors, I think this is what you're going with. The rumors for all the little guys just helps their online discussion. It's only good advertising for them. People are talking about it.
It keeps them on
keeps them
the
relevant.
forefront. Yeah,
exactly. Now Games Workshop, they just don't need it because they're getting as much hate as they're getting love anyway. People are going to talk about them no matter what. They're the big boy.
That is true.
So
just for fun,
that's
Games Workshop apologist.
No,
let's see what people say about that.
I don't agree with everything, but I don't understand everything. So
I wasn't calling you that.
Oh, okay.
No, I just wanted to make some neckbeards' heads explode, but Games Workshop apologist right there.
I apologize for the statements Leland just said. Anyways.
They do not reflect anyone else.
I'm not affiliated with this individual in any way, shape, or form.
Nor is MiniWarGaming. He's not fired.
Oh, well, that makes a dozen times.
No, but I mean, I think Games Workshop does not necessarily need that constant online talk to keep them relevant, keep them in their current hype, because they're going to have it either way. I cannot go to a Games Workshop thread and somebody in the thread somewhere, at least one person will say, wow, I'm glad I quit this game 2 years ago. I'm glad I quit this game 5 years ago. Why are you reading the thread?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't get that one.
I sometimes wonder if these people are actually just... I wonder if they're actually just trolls and they actually still go out and play. Because, I mean, every time a big change happens to any of the systems in Games Workshop, you always see the comment after comment about, yep, that's it. That's it for me. I'm not doing anything else with this game.
Oh, man, we watched some beautiful videos this morning about armies being burnt.
The Flaming Dark Elf Army. Wow, what a...
I haven't seen that since Justin here at MiniWarGaming flipped over his Dark Eldar and stepped on him.
That was just... You know, it was sad to watch simply because it seemed like such an overreaction to the situation.
Now we're all guilty of it once in a while.
Are you referring to your Titan?
Yeah.
I have never smacked a Warjack off the table in anger and broken.
Never. I crushed an Eldar Revenant Titan.
Proud of you.
Because it pissed me off while painting.
I can honestly say I've never actually gotten so angry at a model I've just given up on it. It's never actually happened to me.
Harbinger. Really? Go grab a Harbinger.
Get a Harbinger.
I will buy a Harbinger and I will film me trying to assemble this thing.
That actually could be a decent video. We should actually put it on the list.
Yeah.
Put it on the list. All right. So there you go, viewers. I am going to purchase a Harbinger, hopefully sometime this summer, and I will attempt to assemble this thing and not get so frustrated that I just want to quit the hobby.
If it turns out that he actually does it competently, we're not going to upload the video.
No.
That's all.
Yeah. Remember, you got to pin everything.
All right, guys. So there you have it. If the video does not make it up, you know I was successful at this. Quirk, I can see the vein going.
I'm going to say, there will be a video of me looking at your model and just going, whack, out of frustration.
Yeah, it'll be followed by a video of Quirk destroying my model.
I don't know where we were and how we got here. What were we just talking about?
Rumors and whatnot, and
how it helps the little guys and the big guys don't really need it. Yeah, I think Corvus Belli. I pronounced that correctly. Yep. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Privateer Press. They're not that little anymore. Privateer Press is now pretty big.
It's all relative, right?
But in comparison, yeah. So the rumor mill does help them. I can't say how it doesn't. I mean,
like, here's the thing. At this point in time, do you think Games Workshop really cares about the rumor mill?
I don't think. I think they have the luxury of not caring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Now, on that topic, do you think the rumor mill hurts any of them, like Games Workshop, Corvus Belli, Privateer Press? Do you think the rumor mill at any point in time has actually hurt them as a company?
I think Games Workshop thinks it hurts them. Whether my assumption is completely wrong, they don't think that at all. Very possible. Whether it actually hurts them, I just don't know. I don't have enough. We don't know enough about the inside of the company.
Well, here's the interesting thing. I mean, if they work off the assumption that they didn't want the rumors of Age of Sigmar to be accurate and all this sort of stuff, and they just let it go, and
Let
the
it
community did
go.
their own thing. Well, look at what already happened. Like we heard stories all over the place of people reducing their fantasy purchases.
Yes.
To the point where it just became dead stock in a lot of stores.
With the exception of end time stuff,
Yeah.
I have bought nothing for fantasy since I think even before Christmas last year.
No, here's
well
the-
before that actually.
Now,
yeah.
here's the thing. What if it had been a different circumstance if you knew going into Age of Sigmar all the rules are rumors? Like, if you had more information.
Okay, so it was the original round-based thing which started the whole rumors, and then how the game from there went. The game would be drastically different, and now it is drastically different. That was the first seed of doubt. When every time somebody came in, oh, fantasy sounds good. We've had Colin, hi Colin, and Turk, hey Turk, both expressed interest in the game and are starting their armies. And they ask, well, should I buy this next? Should I buy this next? And the answer's always been the same thing: don't buy nothing.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to be not valid. We don't know what's going to be discontinued. We don't know what the game's going to be in a couple of months. I talked to we're 6 seconds or -6. I talked to the local gaming store here in St. Catharines. How much fantasy are you selling? It's down to way less than the average because nobody's buying fantasy anymore. The rumors for them, the drastic change of Age of Sigmar stopped all sales in this area. Is that everywhere? Probably, but we can't say for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, that's our 30 minutes of free content. If you are a Vault member, go ahead and click the link below. It'll take you to the other 30 minutes where we continue this conversation and possibly spur on to some other topics. If you're not already a Vault member, go ahead and click that link anyway. It'll give you access to the Vault and a 7-day free trial. It gives you access to all of Chris's painting tutorials, behind the scenes, open vaults. You get to see the extra battle reports between all of us here, and also the battle reports with Matt and Dave. Until then, guys, happy wargaming.